Which volcano will destroy the world if it erupts? Consequences of a major eruption when the Yellowstone caldera, or supervolcano, in Yellowstone National Park erupts again. The consequences will be worldwide. The Geographic Survey said, despite their destructive power, volcanoes are also beneficial to humans. Eruptions produce gases and rocks that humans use in their lives. These fire-breathing mountains also provide man with hot water, energy, various metals, and even precious stones. Volcanic ash enriches the soil. The danger to humans is posed by magma, lava, flows, falling rocks, and ash ejected from the volcano crater, mud flows, and sudden violent floods. A volcanic eruption may be accompanied by an earthquake. Watch for a warning about a possible volcanic eruption. The fact that you don't live near an active volcano doesn't mean you are immune to a catastrophic volcanic eruption. Have you ever heard of supervolcanoes? This is, surprise, a really big volcano, but it doesn't always look like you think it does. Some of them, calderas, look more like craters than cones. Mount St. Helens or Iceland's Age of Geological are laughably small, very hot potatoes compared to the reality of lava under the giant caldera. The question about supervolcanoes, as it turns out, is not whether someone can destroy all life on Earth. It's about when it will happen again. That's right, folks. About 200 million years ago, a supervolcano erupted with such insistent energy that 75% of the species on the planet were wiped out. It was so gigantic that it ripped apart North America and Africa and created the Atlantic Ocean in between. For 600,000 years, a supervolcano called Camp, Central Atlantic Magmatic Province, erupted over and over again. And here is what is bad news for all those who smugly enjoy their volcano-free neighborhoods. It wasn't that lava covered everything in sight, or even that volcanic ash fell hard enough to smother everything. Rather, it was the effects of pollution from the event. For example, CO2 and carbon levels skyrocketed. The environment was devastated. Very little was able to recover. It is interesting to note that after the apocalypse, it was the dinosaurs that were eventually able to evolve and take over before their own catastrophic end, proving that no one wins for long. So, are we vulnerable to another devastating eruption? In short, yes. Beneath Yellowstone Park is a caldera that will knock off not only your personal socks, but the socks of everyone around the world. Scientists recently discovered that the caldera measures 55 by 20 miles, 89 by 32 kilometers, and is 3 to 9 miles, 5 to 14 kilometers below the surface. By comparison, an eruption of Yellowstone would be 25,000 times more powerful than an eruption of St. Helens. Again, it's not necessarily the lava and ash flows that will kill you. It could be the horrific fallout from the lava and ash flows that will destroy. Most of the planet's volcanoes are located within the Pacific Ring of Fire. Volcanoes are majestic yet dangerous, natural formations that have attracted the attention of scientists and travelers for centuries. Their size, the power of their eruptions, and the beauty of the scenery around them are breathtaking. In this part of the issue, you will learn that volcanoes are majestic but dangerous, natural formations that have attracted the attention of scientists and travelers for centuries. Their size, the power of their eruptions, and the beauty of the surrounding scenery are breathtaking. We will tell you about the largest volcanoes in the world, which are impressive in their scale and impact on the environment. What is a volcano and how it appears? Volcanoes are conical-shaped mountains that rise above cracks in the Earth's crust. Molten rocks rise from the cracks through the vent. At the outlet, they turn into lava, which, when it solidifies, forms the cone of the volcano. Volcanoes form at the junction of lithospheric plates, where the Earth's crust is thinnest. Most of the planet's volcanoes are located within the Pacific Ring of Fire. It covers almost the entire perimeter of the Pacific Ocean, Kamchatka, New Guinea, Antarctica, the Andes, and the Cordilleras. In total, there are more than 300 active volcanoes in the Ring of Fire. Volcanoes are both terrestrial and underwater. In total, there are more than 4,000 volcanoes on the planet, of which about 900 are located on land. 540 volcanoes are considered active. Active volcanoes are volcanoes that have erupted at least once in the last 12,000 years. Those that erupted earlier are called extinct. Volcanoes that are not active, outwardly but are not, completely extinct are considered dormant. The most famous dormant volcanoes are Ararat, erupted in 1840, and Fujiyama, erupted in 1707, the most famous eruptions. The strength of volcanic eruptions is calculated on a scale of volcanic activity, from 0 to 8. The strongest eruptions occurred in remote antiquity, about 27,000 years ago. It is assumed that such was the eruption of the Yellowstone volcano. Now on the site of the supervolcano remains a basin, caldera. The probability of a repeat eruption is less than 0.0001%. The Santorini volcanic eruption, which occurred around 1700 BC, scored 7 on the activity scale. A cloud of ash covered half of Europe, and a powerful tsunami in the Mediterranean Sea destroyed the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete. The eruption of Vesuvius in 79 AD, which destroyed the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum, is rated 5 that the maximum strong eruptions occurred in remote antiquity, about 27,000 years ago. 1816 was called the year without a summer and resulted in crop failure and famine. In 1883, the Krakatoa volcano erupted in Indonesia. The explosive wave circled the globe several times. This eruption was rated 6 on the activity scale. In 2010, a 4-point eruption of Iceland's Eyjafjallajökull volcano paralyzed air travel in Europe. The highest volcano on the planet is considered to be Ojos del Salado in South America. It is located on the border of Argentina and Chile and is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. The height of the cone of Ojos del Salado is 6,893 meters. This volcano is considered extinct, but it is rather asleep. Gas and sulfur emissions were noted only 30 years ago. Ojos del Salado can be climbed by both professional climbers and tourists without training. Climbs are usually made from December to March, when it is summer in the southern hemisphere. On the Argentine side, the hike is more difficult. There are no mountain shelters on the slopes. And on the Chilean side, you can rest and hide from bad weather at tourist centers. The largest active volcano in the world is Yayaka. It is a neighbor of Ojos del Salado and is also located at the junction of Argentina and Chile. The last time it erupted was in 1877. Now it is dormant, constantly emitting sulfur and gas from its slopes through Fumaroles. 7 volcanoes, which includes the highest fire-breathing mountains on each continent. Among mountaineers, conquering all 7 peaks is considered one of the greatest achievements. The highest volcano in Europe is Italy's Etna. The exact height is difficult to determine, as Etna erupts frequently and either builds up a few meters or loses them. However, Etna is definitely higher than 3,300 meters, making it the tallest active volcano in Europe. Elbrus is considered to be the highest. Its height is 5,642 m. The highest volcanoes in Asia also include Demavend volcano in Iran, 5,610 m. The highest volcano in Africa is Kilimanjaro, 5,895 m. In South America, the already familiar Ojos del Salado, 6,893 m. In North America, the Mexican volcano, Orizaba, 5,610 m. In Australia and Oceania, the highest volcano is Mount Giluva, 4,368 m. Antarctica also has volcanoes, and the largest of them is Sidley, 4,285 m. Sidley is very difficult to get to, so the list often includes Antarctica's second highest volcano, Erebus, 3,794 meters, the southernmost active volcano on the planet.